songs that you'll see explode in the Legacy series. So in a sense, we know where that is, but we aren't really heading there. Not in a big major way, because there's still just too much time for me.
I think
We're being careful not to contradict it. We don't want to cause trouble.
well, okay.
Troy wants to cause trouble.
I guess from my perspective is that I kind of know that it's out there, but as a writer, you can't look at it as this is what is going to happen in the future. I think from my perspective, I kind of look at it as a vision, and in my mind, it's a vision. Is that going to come to pass, or is it not going to come to pass? And I think that's what, as a writer, keep it interesting for me. I kind of look at it, okay, are we going that way, or are we not going that way? How is this really going to play out? Is this a vision of the future, or is it just one of many possible futures?
The thing about far future events is that you can, as a writer, you can either steer straight toward them, or you can tacking to get back and forth against the wind and sort of head in that direction. But the tacking back and forth can seem to run contrary to that vision for a while, and that's genuinely more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we were heading straight there, I think it would be as uninteresting for you as it would be for us.
First, I want to say thank you so much for officially bringing Jana and Jack back together. That's been years in the making. But my question is in regards to Tanal Ka. She was more heavily featured in Legacy of the Force. Are we going
Sorry, could you speak up, please?
Sorry, is my question about Tanal Ka. She was more heavily featured in Legacy of the Force. Will we be seeing much more of her in Fate of the Jedi?
Will we be seeing more of Tanal Ka in Fate of the Jedi?
I would say you probably. I mean, she's certainly a part of it. I don't know.
But you've got to understand, when we do this, we don't plan it out in complete, perfect depth at the very beginning. And just to tease you guys a little bit, we are getting together in a secret location tomorrow to plan out the rest of the series. So in some cases, the answer is we don't know because we haven't figured it out yet.
As long as the Haven Consortium remains a major player in the galaxy, Tanal Ka will show up. The question is whether she has her own subplot or whatever, and right now we don't have that decided.
So, just touching on her first point about Jag and Jaina, now that they're, they finally opened up together romantically, it's like, I guess we got to ask is, who here knew that was going to happen when? Is it something that,
I don't see any hands coming up.
well, actually, yeah, who here had that day?
The problem is it wasn't really decided not too long ago.
Right.
It really wasn't. I mean, there were different people struggling for different outcomes for those characters and for Zach and for several others, and so the steering was kind of by a committee among people who disagreed violently about it at times.
And plus, poor Zach has been chasing after Jaina for so long, it just seemed too sad to continue with him along that path where it's one rejection after another. Where this way, by at least sort of nailing something down, he can go and take care of himself.
So to speak. Baseball captain?
Now that the main character is really old, Luke,
Not really old.
are you guys going to start shifting focus and introduce younger Jedi and branch off on books in the future after you're done with this arc or a couple arcs down the road where you can continue having books about different characters?
So will the focus shift on younger Jedi? Is there a possibility of folks in the future focusing on such new younger characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in a sense, it's good for us to go in that direction because it is a growing franchise and these youngsters are growing up and need to be more prominent. And not because Luke and the rest are getting old, because old in Star Wars years is not necessarily old in human years, although they are human, but it is, it's a fantasy. So they can live to be 200, or they can live to be 180, or, that's still yet to be determined, but I personally think we need to bring some of the other characters out more into the spotlight. And there are folks that disagree with me, that's why we do this as a team.
Y'all saw in Legacy of the Force that there were a lot of new Jedi introduced, and some of them even survived. The same will be true of Fate of the Jedi. We want to create that new generation and hope they catch on. Some of the answer in your question lies with you because it is the readers and the audience that are largely demanding more Luke and Han and Leia as well. So as long as there's that demand, there's going to be more stories about them as well.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Boba Fett's going to play as big of a part as he did in Legacy of the Force.
So the question is, Fett played a big part in Legacy of the Force. Will we see him in Fate of the Jedi playing the role?
Well, no one on the writing team is absolutely in love with Boba Fett this time around.
I don't think that he has as big, I mean, as a character, he doesn't have as big a role in this story, period.
You got to remember that although this is continuing the story, the history line of, continue to move further and further into the future, we're not, Fate of the Jedi is not a direct follow on the exact storylines in Legacy of the Force. This is a new storyline centering on different characters and trying to accomplish something different story-wise. At the moment, Boba Fett does not have a large role.
Yeah.
He's pretty busy too on Mandalore trying to figure out what to do with the plague. It's going to take up his time for a while. He's got a wife that's just woken up after, knows how long, and a granddaughter that he's just getting to know. So we've got him off over there taking care of his domestic responsibilities. He's probably learning to cook.
Which would make an amazing novel, wouldn't it?
Cooking with
Yeah, Boba Fett and an apron.
We were talking about with Luke and still seeing him in the storyline. Back in Legacy of the Force, with him losing his wife halfway through the series, not only is he, what I'm trying to say is, once we get further on into the storyline, is Mara Jade going to be Luke's only flare, or can we possibly see him getting together with somebody else in the series?
You say question of loving planet.
Well,
It's a little soon.
Yeah, it's a little
She was the love of his life, and I give him a chance to get over it. He's got other stuff to deal with right now. And he's in exile. He's not going to meet too many women.
If it ever comes back, I think it would be really delightful to see him in a whole succession of awkward blind dates. But not right now.
Yeah, I guess that's a good answer. This just isn't the story of him meeting his new love, if he's ever going to meet a new love.
He's being a
just
dad right now, a responsible dad.
Exactly. I think that's the domestic thread that we're interested in, because both Ben and Luke have been terribly wounded by this. And I think the story arc that interests us is how they help to heal each other and move forward.
Aaron Allston, I just want to say I hope you're doing well, especially a lot of the fans are cheering for you. So,
Thank you.
With the Legacy of the Force, it effectively kind of killed the Solo line. Now, would there ever be any kind of talk of, because I know Han's cousin Thraken, Sal Solo, there was never really any huge big backstory for him, so is there any way to get a Sal Solo, a bastard son or something? Jump into the Millennium Falcon with Chewie's son and stuff like that.
Jane is not married yet.
Yeah.
But that's not a Solo.
Well, it may be. I
She
mean,
might keep her name.
once you get your name.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a solo no matter what her name is.
Yeah, and if she,
And also, Jason has a daughter.
That's right.
Right.
Always in motion, the future is. And the Millennium Falcon, too.
Have you decided on the title for Fate of the Jedi 6 yet?
We have a title for book 6.
Yes.
Okay, follow-up question. Do we want to say what it is?
I know, but I'm not
I
going to
don't know,
tell
you told
you.
Roy what the title is?
Yeah, I told her.
It's Vortex.
I'm going.
I can tell you a bunch of other ones that it isn't, but I'm really excited about it.
Following up on the question about Han and Leia stories moving forward in the future. It seems to me there's a lot to explore, back in the timeline. And I thought Matt Stover's book was amazing and showed that you could do a Han and Leia story without all the baggage of all the awful things that have happened to them, and you can make a really great, compelling, interesting story. Is there any, focus on that instead of continuing to move them forward down the timeline, maybe going back in the intervening years